Well, the captain, he said to John Henry, I'm gonna bring this steam drill around. I'm gonna lay that steam drill right on the Amtrak. I'm gonna knock that steel on down. I'm gonna knock that.
McComb is a railroad town.
McComb is definitely a train town.
Everybody likes a train ride. You're never too old to ride the train.
It's got to be fun every day.
It is. I actually love my job.
McComb is one of the greatest little railroad towns, and this is something that we cannot forget.
Every kid loves a train.
Sister's crazy about trains. When he was 2 years old, it was train videos, etc. Got his first electric train, O-gauge, when he was 3, and he's gotten one for Christmas ever since. He comes by here weekly to look at the steam train and everything, and yeah, if they have an event, he shows up.
Are they big into trains?
Yes, they love trains.
Pretty cool that the museum does this today.
Yes, they are having the blast.
I grew up a block from the railroad, and I spent my growing-up years down here going in boxcars. I was the only, my sister and I were the only girls on the block, so we had to kind of blend in with the boys if we wanted to get out of the house. It is the foundation of McComb. McComb wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the railroad. So as we were growing up, the railroad was very important with the shops and the... Everybody here can probably remember the shop whistle.
You still hear that shop whistle in your head?
I can hear it, I guarantee you. We knew what 7 o'clock whistle meant, and we knew what the noon whistle meant, and the 1 o'clock comeback whistle, and the 3:30 and 4 o'clock getting off whistle.
I started working the railroad in 1955 as a switchman, right out of high school. Worked right here in McComb. I stayed here till June of 1985 when they shut the railroad down. Oh, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. It was responsible for what I have today.
I was born and raised here. My grandfather was a railroad engineer for 60 years for the IC, and before that up north in Illinois. My fondest memories are of him driving the Miss Lou, which was probably our first diesel train, wasn't it? The Miss Lou?
Yeah. Why is it important to have events like this?
Well, I think it creates community interest in what this town was founded at, and you know the significance of the railroad.
Great to see all these kids out here.
It is. And it gives them some insight of what went on and what goes on now.
You like trains? What do you like about them? Have you been on a train like this before? Pretty cool, isn't it? Amazing how many people haven't been on a train.
Amazing. I get that every day. I work on here quite a bit. The city of New Orleans, and every day I get at least 5 or 6 telling me that they've never been on a train. It's a great experience. We brought out a mini train set with 3 cars just so they can get a feel of the train, from a diner to the coaches to the sleepers, so they can get like I said, a good feel of the train and how we operate.
I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles.
So tell me about Arlo Guthrie.
I met him one day on the train. He and his band were traveling to New Orleans, and he brought his guitar, his band members, bandmates, and we had an open coach car that day, and he came back and was practicing and sang the city of New Orleans.
That's got to be the coolest thing.
It is. He signed a menu for me. I still hold that dear to me. But he was a nice guy, down-to-earth guy.
Especially on the city of New Orleans, to grow up in McComb.
I was very fortunate, very lucky to have that opportunity.
Today we had National Train Day. This is the 3rd year we've done it. Little Obie came down from Canadian National. Amtrak brought the train, the modern train, and then we had the cars that we've gotten open for people to go through. So we had a lot to offer, and I think we probably had 700 or 800 people.
Have you been here before? Have you seen the...
Oh, I'd seen it, but not with all the where you could get onto things. But I got to learn a lot more today and listen to more sounds.
Always nice to be interrupted. You just toured the new cars.
I did. It was nice.
What did you think of it?
I thought it was excellent. I'd seen a couple over in Atlanta before, but it's always good to see the older cars.
Great to see a city like this really embrace its railroad history, its past.
Very much so, very much so. I'm glad that we were able to come to McComb this time around.
We brought little Obie, CN safety train.
And y'all take the train to different places?
We go all the way. This train here operates in the U.S. We have 2 in Canada.
People are really surprised, I think, at how much history we have here. And of course, if it hadn't been preserved at this time, it would have been lost because so many of our railroad men are dying out there. Most of them are World War II veterans. And let me tell you something, we have the greatest volunteers in the world for this railroad museum. They are just fantastic.
McComb is a railroad town. It was established in 1872 by Colonel Henry Simpson McComb, who was elected president of the New Orleans-Jackson Great Northern Railroad before the railroad was even here. And it was through his efforts that our shops were moved up here out of New Orleans, and his intent was to move the railroad shops up here and the car shops and make it a viable place to work and live.
The favorite thing I done today was went in the Cambusa again, finally, and seeing on the inside of a real Amtrak.
Most of our young folks, I've never been on a train ride.
That's amazing.
And I think that's one of the things that we are missing in our history, not only in the state of Mississippi, all over America, because we have lost our railroad, and it's a great education and everything. Railroad is an education. If our children could just ride and understand, traveling over the country, it's an education.
So you actually are interrupting train day by taking a trip.
That's right.
Where are you going today?
We're going to New Orleans. My wife's birthday and my birthday, so we're going down tonight, go out to dinner.
Did you know all this was going on today?
I did not have a clue.
I think the Railroad Museum has done a lot to educate people. We try very hard, and this is just another way today of doing it. But yes, I think they're learning. We won't leave them alone.
I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done.